What's up, everybody? Eagle here, and welcome to my vlog for GMC as well as MVP Open, the two DGPT playoff events. Man, crazy that the year is basically over. Have two more events. I'm back home now, getting ready for USDGC and the DGPT championships. But to start off my Vermont trip, I was at home for a few days after D-Glow to get ready, do some stuff that I like, shoot videos, edit videos, things along those lines. It's really hard to do when you're out on the road, especially seeing like all my PTs and trainers, things along those lines. It just feels like when I come back home, everything just feels way better and I can set myself up for success better. So we flew out on Saturday. Shout out to Caleb Tucker for driving us to the airport.
My dad's on a way on a concert vacation, and look who's driving us to the airport.
What's up?
Russian Caleb. He should change his Instagram name back to that.
He is currently putting in hours to get his driver's license. Team MVP member. Shout out to the Tuckers. They're always super supportive. We fly into Burlington and do some shopping, get loaded up for the week at Smuggler's Notch. We get an Airbnb in Johnson, which ended up being not the greatest Airbnb. We had to do a lot. We had to clean the Airbnb. We had to go back into Burlington to buy a fan and a bunch of other supplies because it wasn't all that great. But we got through it. Yeah, I had 4 days to practice for Vermont, which was really nice. Got 2 rounds in on each of the courses, and my goodness, just check out some of this footage on how absolutely stunning Vermont was at this time of year.
My goodness, could you even imagine a more beautiful sight? There's no more beautiful sight in the world, especially since Ratana, or primarily because Ratana is walking through the frame. Still pretty beautiful without Ratana as well, but when you put her in the frame, it takes it to a level not even of this world. Wow.
And one of the practice rounds that I did, I played with the Sandwich Man, as well as Paul Kranz for an MVP practice round. So check that out if you have not. It was a lot of fun, and I've really been enjoying doing the MVP practice rounds. I feel like it's fun, it's a good little vibe, and I think you guys have been liking it as well. Didn't get to do one for MVP, but I'll explain why a little bit later in this video. I feel like I got all the practice that I really wanted at the courses, and the nice thing about Fox Run and Brewster is that they're a little bit on the shorter side, so you can knock them out quick. Both courses are as a whole, it's one of the best venues in disc golf. The courses are very, very high quality, and they are more reminiscent of OG disc golf. I think they're a great blueprint on what disc golf really should be. I think they're losing a little bit of their difficulty because this year was a total sprint, and I don't know what added difficulty looks like. I honestly think it's good to have some tournaments that are a little bit on the easier side, and especially when you have courses like Brewster and Fox that are so well established. People really love them. So honestly, I wouldn't tweak them too much, but I'm sure that they probably will. But without further ado, we'll get into my rounds out there. For the breakdown, I'm going to just talk more or less about the highlights. And overall, round 1 was a huge highlight for me in my disc golf career at large, I felt. Hole 1, I did a controversial play. I threw a grenade, and I was able to get the birdie, which was a really great start. And later on, someone asked me, why do you choose grenade off of hole 1? And I said, because it's the easiest shot for me. there's a huge open space up high, and I just figured, hey, if it's open, I can throw it up there and it's gonna fall pretty close to the basket. So got the birdie there. Hole 2, threw an amazing drive into the prime landing zone, threw a little range forehand, got the birdie. Hole 3, throw a decent forehand, didn't feel very good out of my hand, but walk up there, absolutely parked, and 3 under through 3 to start. That's something that really never happens to me at Brewster, and it felt really great. Hole 4, wasn't able to put a good drive in the fairway, so I scrambled really hard on that hole to get a par, which I was happy about because there was an outside the circle putt. Hole 5, nothing special, just par, missed the gap. Hole 6, I throw sidearm with a range, which historically, that gap is really weird for me because it's difficult for me to down tempo my backhand enough to comfortably hit that gap. So I usually pull it right or early release it left. If you go back to 2020, you'll see that I'm throwing forehand roller on that hole. But finally, I have a disc like the range. I throw a ripped sidearm. I can release the range on just a slight hyzer. It goes to flat and starts drifting left. And honestly, it's like the perfect shape for that hole. Threw it a little bit long in round 1, but made a really nice putt to get the birdie. 4 under at this point after 6, and I'm stoked because that's really just a great start for me out at Brewster. Hole 7, I throw not a great drive, but get lucky, and I'm in the perfect spot. Really bad approach. I definitely blunder and miss out on a birdie there. Hole 8, nothing too special. I get off the tee decently and just never find a good opportunity to attack for birdie, but I was able to par it. Hole 9, I throw a Proton Envy perfectly under the basket. I loved that, loved the easy 2. Hole 10, got a great birdie through a neutron hex down the tunnel, hit the tree, hit a good little outside the circle putt, if I recall correctly. 11, I throw a good drive, and I was a little bit bummed on the approach shot. I had a very good lane. I threw a little range forehand, but clip a tree or square a tree, which honestly was a bad mistake. There's another birdie I feel like I could have got. Hole 12, amazing shot with a Proton Envy. Absolutely parked it. 13, nothing special. I pull my forehand, nothing special, just get a par. 14, really nothing special. Get out the gap, get a par. 15, I throw just a crushed resistor shot. I thought I would have went out of bounds long, but I get a green flag. I walk up there and I'm under the basket. And I guarantee you that I got a really good kick and got a birdie from it. And you know, I'm not complaining. At this point, I am 8 under, and that 8 under is my previous best score at Brewster ever. So I'm just enjoying the ride at this point. And 16, I throw resistor, pretty good shot, well in the circle, get a nice birdie. 17, throw a drive, kicks a little bit right. I'm forced to do a forehand approach shot. When you're on the right side, there's like this little area that it's not the end of the world. You just have to throw a little forehand to play for a putt, and that's what I did. Got the birdie. And then 18, throw a decent drive. It's coming in right side, probably about 45 feet out. Run the putt, get the par, and that was 10 under at Brewster Ridge, which is my best round ever at Brewster, getting me on a lead card for day 2. I was very stoked about that because usually I'm always not getting to this off to the start I want at Brewster. And obviously I played well, but having MVP discs out there, I felt like there was shots previously that I didn't have. But with MVP throwing the resistor, the range, the pyro, those discs just feel like they fit that course so well. So I was really excited about that. On to round 2. Hole 1, I throw a good shot, and then I threw a second shot, OB. I thought was really good, but the approach shot was a little bit closer than I thought. Get a par there. Hole 2, early tree. On to 3, I throw a grenade over the trees and land in a pretty decent spot. Get a nice birdie there to be 1 under through the first 3. Not an ideal start, but not bad. Hole 4, throw a runway flex a little bit behind a tree, so I'm forced to throw a wide forehand on circle's edge, hit a good putt. On to hole 5, nothing special, get a little bit lucky, but par. Hole 6, shout out to Alden Harris. This is the hole that he aced. I did not throw a good shot. I was outside the circle, but hit a little step putt for the birdie. Don't want to miss that hole because it actually is the easiest hole, I think, on tour. Hole 7, nothing to write home about. I play it well, except on the green, I have an easy putt, and I heard the wind rustling. I missed the putt, get a par there, which I felt was frustrating because I played the hole pretty good. Had to move on to hole 8. Was a little frustrated. I threw a great turnover shot with a resistor, well inside the circle, easy birdie. Hole 9 down the hill, which is one of the most taunting holes in disc golf. A little bit windy. I take a resistor off the tee, basically throw it perfect for what I was trying to do, just nice and low driven, fade to the left side. I'm left with about a 45-footer, and I nail the step putt. Pretty stoked on that. Hole number 10, little sidearm hyzer, get the easy birdie. Hole 11, throw a really bad shot. I'm trying to bite off a lot of distance with the dimension. Hit the first tree early, but I'm still in range to attack. I throw a fission dimension sidearm that felt really terrible out of my hand, gets lucky through all the trees, and I'm inside the circle for a birdie, which was definitely on the lucky side. Hole 12, the second par 5 on the course. Throw a really nice drive, great second shot with a Tesla, and tap in a eagle. So at that point, I'm 9 under, really just, I'm cruising, and I'm going in the part of the course where there's a stretch of par 3s, and you're thinking that everything's going just how you want. I mean, at that point, 9 under is a good score on Fox Run, no matter what. So I'm pretty happy. Unfortunately, next hole, throw my shot a little bit long, OB, hit a step putt. My step putt was working really well that round. For the par, throw up the hill, hit a tree, don't have a easy putt, a little too far away, get a par. Hole number 15, throw a fireball, just pull it a little bit left, and just not in the position that I want. Long look, hit the cage, but yeah, 3 par 3s and all pars when I was at 9 under. That didn't really help my cause. There was a opportunity for a really special round. And then hole 16, this was very frustrating. My drive leaks too far left, not terrible, but at that point I was just trying to pitch out. I was in the woods and I don't have an easy pitch out, so I have to throw a little pitch out with a Nomad, and I thought I threw it well. I walk up, I am on the line on the bad side. OB, throw up from there. I'm not even in a good spot to attack the basket, so I have to basically just throw a NV into the middle of the fairway. Long look, double bogey. So from 9 under to 7 under, there was a period of that round that I felt like I was cruising, especially after the eagle, but I knew that I needed to suck it up and throw good shots. On 17, was able to get the birdie, and then 18, barely stay in bounds off the tee, which honestly is kind of the perfect shot. You want to be on the left side. If you go out of bounds, go out of bounds on the left side, because you should have a fairly simple forehand approach, which I did. Was able to throw my runway to a pretty good shot, tap in for the birdie. 9 under on Fox Run, not a bad round. There was definitely potential for it to be a really great round, but fall back to chase card for round 3 at Brewster. And round 3, everyone says this all the time. If you're on the Pro Tours, how you get unlucky and every shot should be under the basket. But I felt like this round actually was that for me. Start off pretty good, throw a grenade again, get the birdie on hole number 1. Hole number 2, don't throw a great drive off the tee, and a little bit out of position, but probably about 330 feet up the hill. I throw motion flex forehand under the basket, one of the better shots of the weekend for me. Nothing special on hole 3. I went par. Hole 4, par. Hole number 5, I throw a great shot with a pyro, but I went way past the basket. Just a par. Hole 6, I throw the range forehand again, get a birdie. It always feels a little bit weird throwing a forehand on that hole because I can just tell that my card mates are like, why is he throwing a forehand on a backhand hole? But there's just certain holes out there or certain holes in general that don't fit well for my game. And I'm proud of myself when I just throw the shot that I feel most comfortable with. And that was an instance, and I got 2 birdies on it. And yeah, that's a hole that I've taken big numbers on. So I'm proud of my decision. Hole 7, this was really bad. I early release, not in a terrible spot, but there's a specific area on that hole. There's basically an early fairway and a late fairway. And if you go early fairway, you're gonna have a look. If you go late fairway, you're gonna have a look. But if you're in between them, it's terrible. That's where I was. I try to scramble a shot. I throw an ascend forehand, just trying to get close to somewhere where I can scramble a little bit easier. Just trying to play for par. Get to that spot, have an easy little pitch forehand with the range. Throw a great shot, hits under the basket, rolls to inside circle's edge. Missed the putt. Was very frustrated about that because 7 is generally one of the easier birdies on the course, and for the tournament I played it 1 over. That was not what I wanted. Hole 8 was trying to redeem myself. Throw probably one of the longest drives I've ever seen on that hole, but a little bit too far right, not in a great spot. Second shot I have to go patent pending and get a lot of distance. I'm about 200 feet to the basket, but I'm going from a knee, throw a little flex entropy, and there's the one tree you can't miss. I hit it, run the putt, get a 5. I was surprisingly sad about that because I felt like, given how long my tee shot was and the amount of distance I bit off on the second shot, I felt like I should have got a birdie there. But, I didn't. Hole 9, a little bit left. Didn't hit the line good. Was fortunate to get as far as I did. Par. Hole 10, get a great birdie. Throw the hex off the tee, similar to round 1. Was in the circle, hit the trees by the basket, kept me in a good spot. Birdie there. 11 down the hill. Throw a wrath forehand. Am a little bit right side. I have to do a patent pending shot from a knee, if I recall correctly. Don't throw it that well, but am just inside the circle, or I think just on circle's edge at the very least. Get the birdie there. Down the hill on number 12, throw Proton Envy, which is just the perfect disc for that hole. Put it really close, basically park it. 3 birdies in a row there. That was really clutch for me. I was able to get to 5 under, and for me at Brewster, I'm looking to my goal is always to shoot 6 under or better. Brewster, if you're not shooting 6 under, then you're losing strokes to the field, and 6 under at the very least keeps you somewhat competitive because you can make it back on Fox. But if you're shooting below that, then you're going to need to really perform well at Fox. Hole number 13, that was very frustrating. I feel like I threw the perfect forehand out of my hand, but hit the tree that you can't hit, and it shoots as far left as it possibly can, and I'm in a really bad spot, so I have to pitch out to the fairway, and I could go up the gut on my 3rd shot, but I see all this open space in the sky, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can throw a grenade, and that's what I did, and it wasn't good. It goes too far left, and just trying to pitch up at this point to get a bogey. Hit a very early tree on the pitch up, and I'm forced to make a long putt. I don't think we have footage for it, but that hole was a bogey, and it was really frustrating. Up the hill, Aaron Gossage goes before me and parks it with a forehand, and I'm like, I can do that. That wasn't my original play. I was throwing backhand on that, so I throw my dimension forehand, pipe it, feels perfect, looks just like his shot. Hits the last possible tree, don't get a birdie there. Hole number 15, yank my shot, don't even get on the island, get a bogey there, nothing good. At this point, I am 3 under, which I'm not happy about. Hole 16. Oh, this was brutal. I throw my resistor and hear chains, and everyone at the tee pad just start celebrating. And I heard so much chains that I just assumed that was in. I didn't hear like the oh, because everyone up top couldn't see the basket, so I was celebrating. The whole card gave me high fives. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is it. I aced. I haven't aced in a tournament since 2018. I've never aced on the DGPT. So I was like, oh my gosh, my time has come. I'm so happy. And I'm like, this is exactly what I need. I'm back to 5 under, and then the next 2 holes are easy. The next hole is easy. I can get to 6 under, maybe even 7 under. This is great. Walk down there, don't see the disc in the basket, lay on the ground, and want to cry. Very, very sad times. Easy birdie though. Hole 17, throw a great drive, get way up there, have a little pitch to the basket with a resistor, because I was a little bit pinched on the left side, and get a birdie there. 5 under, 18, throw another perfect shot. Hits the last possible tree, shoots straight right. 5 under on Brewster. At this point, I don't even know what spot I'm in. I know it wasn't that bad. I fought hard, but the course had its way with me. Round 1, Brewster was so kind. Round 3, Brewster was mean. So, yeah, you take what you can get out there, that's for sure. And then round 4, I think I'm on 3rd or 4th card. I wasn't looking at scores, but I get a nice birdie on hole 1. Just play it as you should. Hole number 2, hit early, nothing special. Hole 3, I throw another grenade. Don't get off the tee very well. Just get a par there. Hole number 4, don't turn my shot over enough, but make the approach for par. Very slow start, just 1 under so far. Down the hill on 5, just a par. Hole 6, throw a easy little forehand with the motion, get a birdie. Number 7, we have a ripping tailwind. I go my mid-stable neutron dimension, absolutely smoke this drive. It probably went over 600 feet. It was smashed, and I still have the tailwind on my second shot, so I range it. I see that it's 530 feet downhill with the tailwind. I'm like, oh goodness, I can go for this. And I just throw my dimension on a hyzer in the circle, miss the putt for eagle. Hole number 8, I absolutely park with the resistor turnover, very similar to round 2. Hole number 9, I throw probably one of the best shots I've ever thrown on the hole. I have a ripping tailwind. I go Proton Envy, just flip up, drift, under the basket. Hole number 10, park it for the birdie. Nothing too special there. It's a really easy hole. Hole 11, throw dimension, get a lot of distance off the tee. Have a little pitch down or a little jump putt down with the Nomad, get the birdie there. Hole number 12, the par 5, we had a headwind, which made that hole way tougher. Barely safe on the first shot. I'm forced to lay up, throw forehand, and then I have a putt for birdie outside the circle. Wasn't able to connect. hole 13, throw an okay drive just inside the circle, but I'm forced to straddle, which I'm not a big fan of straddle putts. When they go in, I feel like I get lucky. I hit the tree right in front of me, get the par there, up the hill, outside the circle, was able to connect on the putt for birdie. The little hole through the woods, hole 15, forehand it, just hits the last tree, or hits a tree you can't hit. I have a very makeable putt. Miss it, get the par. 16, my nemesis hole. That hole, always the weirdest stuff happens to me. In previous years, I've thrown perfect shots and I just go OB long. It's just like, me and that hole don't get along very well. I throw an okay shot. I'm on the left side, too far up, so I'm pinched off and I can't really even get around the corner. So I just basically throw a little pitch over, get a par, which I was kind of happy about given that I got a 6 on it the second round. 17, throw a rebirth envy on a hyzer, put it nice and close. And then 18, the final hole of the tournament, I throw it very well. But the weird thing about 18 is if you throw a good shot, you're gonna have a tough shot because you wanna barely stay in bounds on the left side to have an easy approach because makes the forehand more accessible. So I have to go up the gut. I throw a range forehand, smoke it, and I'm like, oh God, I just threw it OB. And I get a green flag. It's on the line, outside the circle putt to finish the tournament, get a birdie, 10 under on the round. 7th place at the GMC, which they were the best scores ever at GMC. There were just so many people playing really hot. Just shows how strong the field is now. And kudos to them. Gannon absolutely smoked it. I was happy with the top 10, and that would more or less lock me in for the DGPT championships. It moved me to, I think, 22nd or 23rd in tour points at the time, and is what I needed. 3 top 10s in a row at Worlds, D-Glow, and GMC. Kind of salvaged a lot of my struggles for the year. Got me into the tour championships, which I was very happy about. And then MVP, we didn't get quite as much footage, so I'm going to more or less give the highlights of this week. We traveled the next day down from the Smugs area. It was about a 4-hour drive. Stopped at one of my old favorite restaurants in Brattleboro. It's a vegan restaurant, which is funny. It still holds up. Still one of the best restaurants I've been to, even though I'm not vegan anymore. Very good. It's called Super Fresh Organic Cafe, if you're ever there. We are staying at Simon's for the week, so shout out to Simon. I usually stay at Simon's when I'm in Massachusetts, so it's always nice to have that. He's got a really great place, and it is a fun time. I do the Pro-Am on Tuesday. I don't practice on Monday because I'm tired from GMC. I feel like I need an off day. Pro-Am doesn't go very well. I'm still tired. I'm pretty beat up from the last week, honestly, and basically just get through it, get back after the Pro-Am, and shout out to my partner Joel. It was fun, but afterwards I was pretty wrecked, and I slept the rest of the day to get ready because the next day I had OTB skins. I think that should be up by the time this is out. Went well, was able to make some money there. Played with Simon, James Proctor, and who else did I play with? Who else did I play with?
6 hours later.
Bradley Williams. There he is. All right. It was a good night at Skins, but I didn't get a proper practice round at Maple Hill, and could be an excuse, but it's a legitimate reason why I feel like I was not ready. But let's get into the rounds. Round 1, get a nice 2 on hole number 1. Was happy about it. Absolutely parked it. They are using the par 3 position there. Hole 2, I get a 3. Hole 3, I get a nice birdie. Hole 4, I use my grenade shot down the hill, just get a par. like I said, we have limited footage, so I'm only showing what I got. Hole 5, get a 2, decent start. You know, this is the day that it's raining. This is going to be the worst conditions of the tournament. And for the first 9 holes, we had pretty decent conditions. But at hole 9, you'll hear in a second. Hole 6, I throw a shot with my Wrath. I thought I threw it good, kick OB, and have to scramble, get a bogey there, which is fine. Bogey hole 7. So at this point, you know, it's not going good, or it's going okay. Birdie over the water on hole number 8, hit the cage actually. At that point, I'm under par, but this is where it all falls apart. I think I have the tee shot. I try to throw a forehand because the forehand is more or less the safe play. I hit the first tree and get the worst possible kick. I almost throw it in the water, and I'm in no man's land. We're playing the par 5 position, and I just absolutely struggle. I don't even remember all the shots, but I know that I got an 8. I got a big old snowman, and that took me to, I think it was 2 under going to the hole, so +1, which is not that bad, but this is when the rain picks up. Wasn't able to get the next birdie, and the back 9, or there's a stretch, probably the first 5 or 6 holes of the back 9 are probably one of the easier stretches of the course, or holes that you're thinking that I'm gonna birdie these, and I wasn't able to birdie any of them. We get to hole 14, and I hit the first available tree and kicked left. Usually if you hit the tree, you're OB, but I kicked so far left that I'm actually safe, but still bogeyed anyway. 15, just a par, and then 16, absolutely yank shot. I have nothing, and I get a 5 on that hole, double bogey, and then on hole 16, I think we have the tee shot. I hit a tree and kick so far left that I have to pitch back on the fairway, and yeah, I got a 6 on that hole without doing anything. Obviously, I did the first shot bad, but that was the only shot I did bad. I was just so far off the fairway, I couldn't really even come back from it. And hole 18, somehow, I threw a birdie to finish, to shoot +5. Really frustrating, kind of disappointed, to be completely honest, and was at pretty much the bottom of the field, so that had me teeing off early the next day. Ratana played, so she wasn't able to walk with me until the back 9, and we got very seldom footage as well. But round 2, on the other hand, was the highest rated round for me of the year. I shot a 9 under, stormed back to a 3 under or 4 under par on the tournament, which ended up being like not a bad spot considering how bad round 1 was. Yeah, I just played very, very well, bogey free. The weather was way better. One thing I'm noticing, I need to get better at inclement weather because it's thrown me off pretty bad. Like if you go back to my European stretch, I have not played very well in the rain. So I think I need to pack more towels or just come up with some tactics to slow things down and not push as hard, because it's been a little bit of an issue this year. But yeah, great round on round 2. Round 3, seldom footage again. Highlights are both good and bad. Round 1, I throw a bomb driver in the par 4 position, and I thought I had a good idea to throw a forehand roller into the gap because there's walls that would protect me from going OB. I'm like, oh, if I throw a forehand roller, I won't go OB. And granted, I'm pinched off on the left side and a tree's in my way, so this is the best way to be aggressive. Jumps over the wall, get a 5. And for some reason, that made me so frustrated. Like at Vermont, I could feel a little bit of the darkness seeping in, but I was able to push it away. But the darkness fully came back at MVP, which I don't like, and it's a good wake-up call because I found a really high level of mind at Worlds, D-Glow, and a large degree GMC. Very good perseverance, but I just felt like it went out the window at MVP. I didn't have the fortitude to claw back, and it was just more like I'm in the tour championship. I haven't had the best year, but I'm in the championship. It wasn't good. My mindset wasn't good for that tournament. So nothing good happens. Get a 5-on-1. Hole 3, I was able to snag a birdie. Hole 4, 3, 4, and 5, I string together a turkey to get me back to 2 under. Have a really good shot on hole number 6. Miss an easy putt. 7, I par, so I'm at 2 under, which is not terrible. It's under par, but this is where the round completely went out the window for me mentally. I get a 5 on hole number 8 and throw my tee shot OB, throw my drop zone putt OB, and it's hard mentally because everyone there is just cheering for you, and they cheer for you when you get your 5, and you want to just park it on that hole because you want to hear the cheers, and it's like fun when you play it well, and to play it really embarrassingly, that was tough. And then hole number 9, my nemesis, I get a bogey there, up the hill, I smoke my drive, too far right. The rest of the round was just not good. I didn't really have any good moments to finish out. Didn't get off the tee well. I had 1 birdie on 14, but other than that, wasn't a birdie on 14 and number 17. But other than that, was just a lot of bogeys, and I finished +2 on that round. And that was the round where I needed to move in the right direction, but it ended up being the wrong direction. So I'm at -2 at this point, and then not any real expectations for round number 4. I want to play a good round and tell myself to get back on track mentally. Think of this round as a stepping stone for good habits going into USDGC. I want to salvage the tournament, and I know, like, I'm not really thinking about cashing at this point, but I know that, like, an exceptional round could do it. But that's not necessarily my mindset. Go to the gym, do what I always do before the rounds, get off on the right foot. Great start at Maple Hill. This is my best possible start. 1 through 8, I play exceptionally. Get the birdie on hole 1, get the birdie on hole 2, par hole 3, birdie on 4 down the hill. Got a gigantic gash out of a disc that I really liked, a Fission Fireball. Birdie on hole number 5, birdie on 6, and I get a birdie on hole 8 even. So I'm at 6 under going into hole 8, and get off the tee decently well, but just don't throw a great second shot. Hit a root, and I wasn't able to get the par there. Bogey. I'm still in good position up the hill. I smoke my dimension probably 50 feet past the basket. There's a wall up there, a retaining wall that I go right through the middle of. If I would have hit the wall, I would have been in the circle. Have to pitch up. The castle hole is a hole that I feel like I have an expectation of birdie. Maybe that's bad on me, but it's one of the more easy holes on that course if you have power. So I get a par there, get the birdie on 11, back to 6 under, hole 12, play it extremely bad. I kept turning my shots over on that hole and throwing grenades. I didn't throw a grenade, which I should have on this round. Bogey it down the hill on 14. Didn't get a single birdie on that hole. Had a mix of going up the gut and hyzer, whatever I kind of felt like. Hole 14 and 15. 14, throw a great shot with a resistor, hit it outside the circle putt. I was 3 under on that hole. I played that hole exceptionally well. Birdie on 15, which to my knowledge is the first time I've ever birdied that hole. 7 under at this point. If I end the round there, that's a great score. Not cashing, but just a good score. And at this point, I've maintained my cool. I feel like I'm playing good disc golf, and the conclusion I've came to is that, this wasn't my week. I didn't practice as well as I should have. I maybe should have squeezed in another practice round and done things maybe a little bit differently. But at the very least, I was feeling good, like, okay, just put this week behind you. And I still have that mentality, but I get a 6 on 16. Kick straight right, couldn't get out of the trees, run my putt, hit a branch, and run my putt again, and missed the comebacker. I get a 6, and that was just lackadaisical, not present moment focused, didn't give it my best. And hole 17, throw a decent shot. My morale is so low at that point. Like, I'm still fine mentally, but at that point, it's just like, it's time to leave. It's time to fly home the next day. And have an easy birdie putt, miss it, and then 18, I throw inbounds barely off the tee. I could run the green. I missed the island, get a 5, and that was my tournament. I finished far down the leaderboard, and it was weird because you had both ends of the spectrum. I played incredible on round 2 and a large part of round 4, but rounds 1 and 3 were just, I was not playing well or making bad decisions, and that's kind of what Maple Hill does to you. It's very hard to maintain a high level of consistency out there because a lot of the holes are not too difficult at face value, but if you're a little bit off or you get a bad kick, then it's going to be extremely hard for you to recover from it. And that's what I found out there. Not the way I wanted to play at the MVP Open, but I made it into the Tour Championships, which was a question mark all season. So given that I had a late start at Champions Cup and not the best stretch of events to qualify for the championship with a high level of competition now, there's a lot of good to take away. And I said in my wrap-up post on Instagram, this has been the perfect year for me to take it all in, but also light a fire under myself to grind for next year. I know what mentality I need to carry into the 2025 season, and given that I feel like I'm the healthiest I've been in a long time, to have an off season where I'm making gains and able to play a lot, it's exactly what I need, and I'm just really stoked. And to have 2 more events this year with my game feeling good. There's some tournaments where I play bad, where I feel like it's just bad all across the board. I need to switch out my discs, yada, yada, yada. This was not one of those tournaments. I feel like I'm playing really good, especially coming off of a really nice finish at GMC. I don't need to do that much. I just need to continue my process, play USDGC, Pro Tour finals to the best of my ability. And I feel like there's way more positive than negative right now, and I'm stoked to be at home to have a little time to get ready for those events. But yeah, that all said, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you guys listening to me break things down and ramble, and I'll do this all again for USDGC and the Pro Tour finals. And yes, I appreciate you, and until next time, keep on dreaming, and peace. Lies a place.